Hey dreamers, how you doing? This is Nick Barr from alwayslucid.com. Today, some very special guests and I will be discussing to you guys all about the topic of sleep paralysis. Okay, so sleep paralysis, in a nutshell, what is it? Okay, so sleep paralysis is a mechanism that the body has in which that it turns off all of your muscles in your body just before you go to dreamland, okay? And this is all to ensure that in the night you're not waving your arms about and you're acting out your dreams. It's a safety mechanism for the body. But what we can do is that we can use it to our advantage. If you're a lucid dreamer or if you study astral projection, you can use it to extend your experience by keeping your awareness going. So when you get into your bed at night, you literally just lay there and you're focusing on your breathing and you'll feel these sensations come over you after about 15 to 40 minutes long usually. And this is your body going through the stages of turning off the muscles in your body. And during this process, you will hear things like vibrations, sounds, radio frequencies, people entering the room even if they're not there, things sitting on top of your chest maybe. I mean, these are what things people report all the time. Even like old ladies, the old hag, you know, these very stereotypical, archetypal dream figures that can enter your awareness during that time. It can be a little daunting, I get it. For me, I've had a lot of that. I've had things pull me out of my bed. I've heard things that I knew that weren't really there, but I just knew it was the process of this thing called sleep paralysis, okay? Why do we need to do it though? Why as a dreamer would you even consider something is quite unsure? And because the end result is what? The end result is you will then, if you go all the way and you keep your awareness and consciousness going the whole way, then you'll keep that part of you which knows that you got into your bed that night and now you're now going to enter into the dream directly. There's no like breaking consciousness like you normally would do when you go to sleep at night and then you just wake up inside the dream. This is a constant awareness approach to keep it going all the way through as you cross over. But when you're crossing over, as mentioned before, you will go through the sensations and you'll hear the sounds and you'll be going through all the different types of adjustments in the frequency as you go into the other world consciously. I really want to put this sleep paralysis thing to bed. I get so many emails about the same thing, people quite scared about it, people not sure about it, they're delivering in fear about it almost, and it's kind of stumping their growth as becoming a conscious dreamer. And I just feel that there's no need for it. There really is no need for it. And again, this is only my perspective, and I just hope to inspire you at the very least. I don't want to install any of my beliefs on you, but maybe at this point, you'd be like, wow, it's not so scary after all. Because I had a lady, for example, in this retreat that I was doing, and she was fantastic. She was very, like, you know, really interested in astral projection, very open-minded, wanted to give it her all, right? But basically there was one thing that was stopping her, and it was this fear of sleep paralysis. She heard all of the stories about it, all the backlog about how it can be a bit daunting at first. You hear different things, it can be unsettling, and the sensations are a bit alien. But then I told her, I said, look, we'll just treat it like a gateway, you know? It's a gateway to the other side. It's a beautiful gateway. It's a gift almost that we all have installed within us. And if we learn to transition with it correctly and just know that it's just a process in which we have to follow, I said, it's just treat it as a gateway. You know, you can get to the other side and not worry about all that other stuff. And then she got back to me and she said, look, I've been practicing what you said and I treat it as a gateway now, and I've got to tell you, it's not so scary anymore. And I was like so amazed by it. You know, just by saying this thing, you know, by changing the belief around it and by treating it as a launch pad for astral travel or lucid dreaming or anything like that, it now becomes a less scary place because you now have a different perspective on it. Which means that when you do feel the sensations or anything that's alien or hearing the sounds, it means that you can actually just ignore it and just like go through the process as opposed to fight it and try and run away from it. Or, you know, all you got to do is just accept it in the moment and roll with it. And about 10 minutes later or 15 minutes later, you will then find yourself in the most exhilarating experience, I guarantee it. So let's see our first special guest, Ryan Hurd, and his take on sleep paralysis.
I'm Ryan Hurd. I'm the author of Sleep Paralysis, a guide to hypnagogic visions and visitors of the night. And I wanted to tell you what sleep paralysis is and my own story about it. So sleep paralysis is a brief experience, a temporary paralysis that occurs just as you're waking up from sleep or as you're going to sleep. It's often accompanied by pressure, the chest and the throat. And then there's the visions that come with it, the realistic, hyper-real, I know I'm not dreaming type experiences that include your worst nightmares. That's sleep paralysis in a nutshell. I've had it in the isolated form that doesn't accompany narcolepsy or sleep apnea. That's often how it's experienced, traumatically for many people. But for myself, it comes just erratically. It comes often when I'm just not getting good enough sleep, or I've had too much caffeine or something like that. And that's isolated sleep paralysis. So the first time I experienced sleep paralysis was when I was about 14 years old, and I actually have the account written down. I just started keeping a dream journal at that age. So I actually have seen the account recently, and it's just so classic. It's the classic encounter. And so what happened to me was I was having a bad dream, a nightmare, and so in the dream, the phone is ringing. It's very ominous, and I pick up the phone, I say hello, and this voice comes through that says, "Darkness rules." And I'm just filled with dread, and I wake up instantly, and I'm scared and whatnot. And I settle back down into sleep when that feeling of ominous presence and terror comes back, and it's in the room with me, with my eyes open as I'm in bed, and I feel this choking pressure on my chest pushing me into the mattress. It feels like 1,000 pounds is just shoving me into the mattress. The way I described it as a 14-year-old is that I was being dragged into hell. And I was absolutely terrified, of course. I have no idea what this is. And so I therefore assumed that I was being attacked by a demon, like you do when you're 14, living in the 20th century, and have a Catholic mother. So what happened is luckily I remembered something else that I had heard, which is that if you focus on love when you're feeling scared, that can, be a good thing for anything. So I did, and I actually focused on my feelings that I had for this girl in my class. So I thought about her, my feelings for her, and the pressure subsided, the ominous presence went away, I was lifted out of it, and I woke up completely, and that was my first experience with sleep paralysis. So, when I think about the lessons we can learn from this, getting over fear is the biggest part. How do you get over fear? And it's different for everybody. It can be about leaning into love, like I did, or leaning into faith, as some others have done, or leaning into, scientific materialism and existentialism, if that's what provides you with a grounding power. It's just really about knowing what your trigger is, what can provide a relaxation or response for you in the moment, and having a plan to do that when you're in sleep paralysis. And anybody can do that. And if you make a plan and you know it's coming and you know how you're going to react, you'll find you'll have a much easier time getting out of sleep paralysis, but also using it to your benefit, such as going into an out-of-body experience or a lucid dream.
Now let's see Alice's approach on this.
When I was 13, I had my first sleep paralysis, and since then I had it very often, regularly. And very often I was hearing some giggling voices, and they tried to take me away from my body, and I was afraid that there are some aliens who want to take me away from Earth. And I also very often I had this kind of dark energy sucking on my body. It was very uncomfortable. I always tried to get out of the sleep paralysis or to scream at them and to fight them. And many years later, and this time I didn't know anything about lucid dreaming, And when I was around 20, I was already in contact with meditation, with affirmation. And at that time, I really liked to affirmate love, the word love. And I was then again in the situation, they were kind of sucking at me. And I was thinking, okay, I just let go. I just accept the situation. I completely gave up. And thought like, well, then at least I will use this time that I'm stuck here to meditate a little bit, the word love. And so I started to repeat the word love again, love, love. And then suddenly this dark energies got smashed away. I was completely surprised, and yeah, I'm very happy about it. So then I finally knew what I could do in this situation. A few months later, I found my first book about lucid dreaming and out-of-body traveling. So I was really looking forward to meet my dark, sucking friends again. And because that was a very big dream sign. So when I see them, I know that I'm dreaming. And when I was again in this situation, I was like, oh yeah, finally, again, I'm here. They are sucking at me and I'm in a dream. How wonderful. And now I'm really realizing that this is a dream. I mean, before I also knew it, but I was never looking so forward to it and was so happy about the situation. And then I noticed that they were gone, and I was like, yeah, they got smashed away when I was so happy to see them. So this is my message for you, what you can do when you're in this kind of situation, when dark energy is sucking on you. You can focus on love, you can repeat the word love, or you can be so happy to be in the situation and that it's smashing them away, and then you can focus on your lucid dreams.
I just want to say good luck, and if you have any questions or if you want to get to speak to any of the guests that we had on today, check out their links below because they are fantastic in their field and beautiful friends of mine. So yeah, check them out. They have a lot to offer. Okay, much love. Happy dreaming.